being represented as being in agony, even sighing and crying. There are a couple of people amongst God's people that recognize the abominations, those that are falling. Do you remember when Daniel fell on his knees and he was praying for his sins and the sins of Israel? We need to be praying for God's church, God's Israel. And we need to realize that those that are crying and sighing, those are going to be saved, those are going to receive. But those that don't understand the sinfulness of sin are going to be swept away by the shakings. Testimonies, volume 9, she says, the agencies of evil are combining their forces and are consolidating. They are strengthening for the last great crisis. Great changes are soon to take place in our world, and the final movements will be rapid ones. We've heard this quote before, and we're all like, oh, yeah, I understand. The final movements will be rapid. Something's going to happen sometime. Let me put this into context for you today. Today, as far as I can remember, is the 5th of May, 2009. Right? I think it's either, is it the 5th today? 5th. I'm just asking the camera people. It's the 5th. I do so much traveling, I lose time of my diary, right? It's the 5th of May today. And stuff is about to happen. Some of you might know about it. I want to go into history a little bit. Have a look at this article. Sabbath breaking has caused the tsunami. A Christian minister calls the disaster divine visitation on the Lord's Day. This is an article, as you can see there, that came about in February 13th of February 2005. What's going on here? Well, the spirit of prophecy teaches that at the end of time, the calamities that take place in the world will be aligned to breaking the Lord's Sabbath. Here, as you can see at the bottom of the article, that last paragraph says, in the February issue of his church magazine, Reverend John MacLeod of the Free Presbyterian Church of Scotland writes, possibly no event since Noah's flood has caused such loss, etc., etc. And he, let me explain this, he teaches in this document of his that the tsunami has happened as a result of breaking the Sabbath. But he's not referring to the seventh-day Sabbath. He's referring to Sunday. And he's saying, worldwide, we need to start keeping Sunday. And he's saying it's getting so bad that God's getting angry for his people not having kept the Sunday Sabbath. But this was predicted in the spirit of prophecy. Actually, it was in the Bible, but highlighted in the spirit of prophecy, that there's going to become a Sunday law, and it's coming closer. Well, that was 2005. Let's bring it up to 2007. What happened at the end of 2007, November? Read this article. I'm just going to go to the underlined sections. German unions, churches, have formed an alliance against Sunday shopping. To shop or not to shop on Sundays. The seventh day should be devoted to the family. I totally agree. The Protestant Church of Berlin has joined forces with the Catholic Church in the capital to seek an injunction from the Federal Constitution Court to keep the shops closed. You are desecrating the day of the Lord and breaking the third commandment. It's actually the fourth commandment. Who said this? Bishop Wolfgang Huber, the head of the Evangelical Church in Germany. Look at the last paragraph. The church has formed an unlikely alliance with workers' unions to keep Sundays free of shopping and therefore a day of rest for sales assistance. Do you know Sister White writes that there will be unions on this earth and they will create chaos as has never been on this planet before? And now what's happening is the fulfillment of prophecy. Do you remember? Elijah was persecuted by the woman. John the Baptist was persecuted by the woman through her daughters. And the final Elijah people will be persecuted by Rome through her daughters, which is apostate Protestantism. Here already you have two, the Presbyterian Church and the Evangelical Church in Germany, that are saying, let's keep Sunday. And brothers and sisters, those who decide cognitively to make a decision for Sabbath will be persecuted by the woman through her daughters. And guess what? Most of the people in God's church are still going to become part of those daughters that are going to persecute God's people. I know this is shocking, but this is reality. The things are happening in front of our eyes. I've given you 2005. I've now given you 2007. But what about 2009? I told you that today is the 5th of May, 2009. Do you know that in 2 days' time, the European Union is about to make a decision on the Sunday law in Europe. Well, it would be one thing for me to tell you about it, but it's another thing to show you the actual article. Here's the literal document. There you have it. The document, the first and the second pages of the document. On the top, you can see European Union, 2004 to 2009. And below that, you've got a written declaration. Brothers and sisters, the lapse date on the left, underneath the paragraph there, says the 7th of the 5th, 2009. Do you realize that the European Union, while we are busy playing church, is busy making regulation to try and block us from keeping Sabbath? The final events will be rapid ones. In fact, they are happening at the moment, and it's happening in secret. That's why they're secret societies. It's not happening on CNN. You don't see this on CNN. But you do know, brothers and sisters, according to prophecy and the spirit of prophecy, that we are bang on target. And God's church is about to be persecuted. Read this article with me from the European Parliament. I zoom in there into that paragraph on the left, on the right-hand side. Look at this. This is the European document itself, right? Whereas a work-free Sunday is an essential pillar of the European social model. Number C, according to European Union law, Sunday is the weekly day of rest. Section D, the European institutions, bodies and agencies have not worked on Sundays since their creation. And then point 1, they call on member states of the European Union institutions to protect Sunday as a weekly rest day in the forthcoming national and EU working time legislation. Brothers and sisters, these are the documents that God's people have been waiting for hundreds of years. And now they're in front of us. They tried to push this legislation through last November already. Somehow, the Lord was able to keep the winds back. They've put it forward again. Now there's 2 days to go. Are they going to put it in? I don't know. But somehow I'm praying that the Lord's going to give us extra time. Most of God's people are saying, Lord, please come and fetch us. But that means you don't love souls. Our prayers should be, hold on, Lord, please give us some more time. Hold back the Sunday law. Hold back the winds of strife, that we can get one more DVD out, that I can get this DVD to some of my Adventist members, that they can know that there's a decision coming. Maybe to get out another pamphlet. Maybe to make a phone call to somebody. The urgency is like it's never been before, brothers and sisters. And hardly anyone knows that it's happening. You know that in 2007 already, Cardinal Ratzinger, who was at the time Pope Benedict, made a declaration, something about martyrdom. Have a look at this article. Do you know that he said on the 28th of October that martyrdom is now a realistic possibility for every Christian? God's people are about to be persecuted. Elijah, John the Baptist, the third Elijah. We are about to be persecuted by the woman through her daughters. And how close are we? Well, I've given you 3 articles. Let me make it even more real for you. Last year, the United Nations passed an unbinding declaration. I'll show you a video and it'll all make sense. Which they tried to push through March this year. So far, we haven't been able to confirm whether it's been pushed through or not. But our message, our rebuking message to the kings and to the religious leaders, the Sanhedrin of the world, and also the Sadducees and the Pharisees, brothers and sisters, they are going to put a block on that where we will no longer be able to preach the 3 angels' messages. We will no longer be able to identify who Babylon really is. Well, the United Nations is planning this legislation. They try to push it through. They got it through as unbinding in November. But now, this March 2009, they were trying to push it through. Have a look at this and just think about the concept of what they're trying to do. By the way, please note that they always focus on Islam, because Islam is like it's the scapegoat. Bible prophecy speaks about Israel being persecuted. So bear with me, but when you hear them speaking about Islam, just put yourself in that perspective. Listen to this.
There is a major effort taking place to curb free speech in this country, irrespective of our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. And free speech advocates say the United Nations has come down on precisely the wrong side. The United Nations has adopted what it calls a resolution combating defamation of religions. The United Nations now wants to make that anti-blasphemy resolution binding on member nations, including, of course, our own. That would make it a crime in the United States if the United Nations were to have its way.